Are you scared or hopeful?
We heard from our customers saying that, when they use light phone, they feel less stress, they feel less anxious, they get more time back, a couple hours a day back. They feel like they have better relationship with their family. They feel like, they were able to concentrate to become more productive. And I think it just speaks about like how much impact our smartphone or this attention economy had on us.
Kai left design jobs at Motorola, Nokia, and Blackberry to build something radically different. The Light Phone, a minimalist mobile with no apps, no feeds, and a hardware design meant to be used as little as possible and built for durability. But he's not just selling phones. He's challenging big tech's retention metrics, which are the drivers of an anxious society. And he's redefining what it means to be connected through our smartphones and technology devices.
Yeah, no, I think boredom is really important for human being, like being creative, become productive, and really have the time to reflect on the things that's happening, right? We don't have moment for boredom anymore with your smartphone, right? So in the old days, you sit down, you connect to your internet, you do your thing, and you do your social media, emails, and you get up, you move away, you back to your real life. So there's a clear separation between your real life and your digital life. Right now, we don't have that. You're connected 24/7. You go to bed with your phone, emails, browser, social media. You wake up with it. You go to toilet with it. You eat with it. You spend your family time with it. You watch TV with your kids with it.
Welcome to Reinventing Capitalism, the podcast where I, Claudia Thomas, decode the success of for-profit impact businesses through the stories of their founders. Our goal is to inspire you towards a purpose-driven career, because life's too short for boring jobs and soul-crushing corporations. Quick note before we get back to the episode. Just give me 30 seconds of your time. Two things. The first is a huge thank you for listening and tuning into the show week after week. It means the world to me. And the second is that we are just getting started. If you enjoy what we do here, please join the 14% of people that listen to this podcast regularly and follow us on this app. I promise to do everything in my power to make this show as good as I can, now and into the future. Thank you.
Kai, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for inviting me. Appreciate it.
Let's get straight into the points. You have spent a decade designing mobile phones of the likes of Motorola, Nokia, Blackberry, and then you founded the Light Phone, which is the antithesis of all the devices that I've just mentioned. The Light Phone encourages people to disconnect from their screens. So, to give the audience a bit of context, how does this overconnectivity to smartphones affect our overall health?
Yeah, I think, it's when we start a company back in 2015, I think our own experience kind of triggers the initiative, right? Like, sitting in the subways, in the restaurants or on the street, you look up, like 9 out of 10 people are swiping. And that just, I feel uneasy about it. We all just forgot what's in front of us and getting sucked into the little screen. And my co-founder Joe and I feel the same way. We met in a Google's incubator for designers. And, the more we look into the problem, the more we realize it's not the smartphone itself, right? It's the business model behind every app and every social media that try to maximize engagement so they could collect as many data as possible, as much data as possible, to synthesize it, to sell it to the highest bidder for advertiser, right? I think the consequences are, everything that in your device that you didn't pay for, even if you pay for, sometimes they need to maximize your engagement to make money, and which logically leads to us spending 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours in our smartphone. And we heard from our customers saying that, when they use light phone, they feel less stress, they feel less anxious, they get more time back, a couple hours a day back. They feel like they have better relationship with their family. They feel like, they were able to concentrate to become more productive. And I think it just speaks about like how much impact our smartphone or this attention economy had on us.
It's like, if I think of the industry that you operate, you are fighting against these very big tech companies. How do you come up with the idea? Like, what's the aha moment with yourself or with Joe, your co-founder, where you're like, this is not right. Like, let's do something about it.
Yeah, I think it's it's in the design incubator that Google started in Manhattan, and Google invited investors, successful entrepreneurs to come to the space, and we have a lot of conversations throughout the weeks we were in the incubator. And I think the common thread that we remember hearing about was just, companies or investors talking about the retention, like how much time, my users spend in my app, in my platform, how much data I collected. Like you're bragging about, hey, my users spend 5 hours in my app, in my game every day, which is how we measure our success. Like that's why we're successful, and which is why we can synthesize all the data and come up with different categories of users and could sell it to advertisers, right? So everyone's talking about this retention of their users, right? How much time they spend in their product. But I think at the time, I was like, what about me? Like, I don't know if I want to do that. Like, I just want to get a taxi home, right? Why do I have to spend 5 hours in your app for you to be successful?
Yeah.
Right? I think, that's when we feel uneasy about it. And the more you look into it, millions and millions in app and social media and browser are doing the same thing. And if you are a designers, right, if you are an engineers, right, it doesn't matter what your profession is, doesn't matter what you intended to do, meaning that your product intended to do, as long as you have attention economy that try to maximize people's engagement in your as how you make money.
Yeah.
There's no way out. Like you will have to design your product to keep people in your product so that you make money, right? That's why when you open your smartphone, the app is the flying colors, the spinning wheels, like while you wait, or they give you like information while you're waiting, right? So, so that you don't drop off, right? Yeah, and I think this practice has been being available for or being used for how many years? 20 years now. And Google, Facebook, Apple app stores, they're all like billions of dollars invested into this engine to maximize engagement. And I think that's when we, I feel like the last thing this world need is another app, right? And I just don't want to make another app again. Like, why does anyone need another app? There's hundreds and millions of them. And we wanted to create something that's completely opposite. We wanted to create a brand that design tools that empower human, not the other way around. Like similar to your screwdriver, your hammer, you have those tools. Those tools hopefully design well. You don't think about your hammer every day, but you have hammer or toolbox in your home. You have it with you. So when you need to hammer a nail, you go to your toolbox, pick up your hammer that nails, and that tool disappears. You use it and you put it back, and you don't think about your hammer ever again. You don't swipe your hammer for 5 hours so a hammer company can make money. Right. But that's how we use our technology tools right now. And I just don't think that should be the only direction our technology are heading into, right? Like with AI, like the same thing over again. Because, like if we're using attention economy, making money from data, it's just going to be a better, smarter engine to maximize our time, attention, and data. But those tools AI is not, evil. It just being I think our technology tool just being corrupted by this attention economy, and we wanted to create an option, right? It doesn't, like when we first create a light phone, we're not thinking about replace smartphone. We know smartphone is gonna stay, but at the same time, why can't we have options? We know we all have shoes, we all have different cars, right? Big SUV, big pickup truck, for, I don't know, factories, farming, whatever, right? You have mini cars for city driving. It's designed for different purpose.
Yeah.
But for some reason, when it comes to smartphone, all we could think about is just smartphone. Like just nothing else makes
Yeah.
sense. Like just has to be this app stores and smartphones, attention economy. I feel like people are become aware. More people are becoming aware of the problem now. Especially, I think it's very human that you feel nervous about your 7 hours with
On the
smartphone.
screen, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like, and does that make anyone happier? Like,
Not
when
really.
was the last time? Yeah, when was the last time you spent, I don't know, 3-4 hours on TikTok and Instagram, and after that 3 hours, you're like, oh, I feel so proud of myself. Oh, I feel good. I feel empowered. I feel good. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do 3 hours TikTok again, right?
Yeah.
We all feel kind of shitty. It was like, why can I stop? And like, just kind of says that it's not about self-control anymore at this era, right? Because this engine, this smartphone, browser, social medias are built into our daily routine. You use Google emails. Like, it's all built into our daily routine. And
Yeah.
the only reason I think, I'm sorry, the most effective way to break away from the attention economy, to me, is a different hardware, different software, different user interface, different brand. So when you use that device, you don't think about the whole ecosystem again, not a smartphone, not app. You're not worrying about, social media post, anything like that.
For
You
sure.
feel like,
Yeah. That you have your time back, as you said at the beginning. It's very smart to think of smartphones from an intentional perspective. So I guess you come to that conclusion, and you met your co-founder at this Google-funded incubator. How long did the incubator last? And did you guys design the phone there, or was it after? Like, tell us how it physically, tangibly started.
Yeah, I mean, the first iPhone, we spent probably 2 years planning for it. Well, a year and a half planning for it. And it took 2 years to bring it to life.
Mm-hmm.
But the first iPhone was designed to be your secondary phone, like attached to your smartphone, but you could call. They could make phone calls. There's nothing else. No text message, nothing else. The first light phone is just phone calls. And you could, turn on light phone from your smartphone and leave your smartphone behind at home. And you take light phone out, your incoming calls get forwarded to your light phone. So you can pick up calls. You could call anyone from your light phone, but there's nothing else. And we ship, I don't know, tens of thousands of light phone, or the first light phone out to be a secondary phone. We get a lot of press. A lot of press label us the anti-smartphone, the anti-technology, but I always trying to clarify I'm not anti-technology at all. I enjoy technology. Light phone wouldn't exist without internet, without technology. We raised our first round of funding through crowdfunding platform called Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Without internet, without community, life phone wouldn't exist. So we're not anti-technology, anti-smartphone. All we're trying to do is strip away this business model that we think is not healthy from our tools.
Yeah.
So we ship iPhone 1. We got a lot of customers using iPhone. They all have the same feeling that when you start using iPhone, it's really nerve-wracking. Like you feel like, like you're standing there, like trying to pay for your grocery. There's no smartphone. You can't swipe. So you're just standing there. You're like, oh, what do I do now? Right. And I remember one user, she uses iPhone, and she told us a story that she was, in a grocery store queuing up, and she didn't know what to do for like first 2-3 minutes, and then she quickly realized, it's okay. Like I'll just stand here. I'll just look around. I'll talk to the person behind me or in front of me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like giving herself the permission. It's okay. Like you don't need
And
to know
also-
what's happened, right?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that also. Everybody says that in moments of like actually not thinking about anything and just being bored, it's when you come up with your brightest ideas, because you're not actually
Yes.
connecting, trying to get to those ideas. And I think that's most of times overlooked.
Yeah, no, I think boredom is really important for human being, like being creative, become productive, and really have the time to reflect on the things that's happening, right? We don't have moment for boredom anymore with your smartphone, right? That's one of the things we've been talking about, like creating a separation from your digital life to your real life. It's really important, and we always had that before, the whole attention economy being created. We always had that. You're like, in the old days, I'm 40, right? So in the old days, you sit down, you connect to your internet, you do your thing, and you do your social media, emails, and you get up, you move away, you back to your real life. So there's a clear separation between your real life and your digital life. Right
Yeah.
now, we don't have that. You're connected 24/7. You go to bed with your phone, emails, browser, social media. You wake up with it. You go to toilet with it. You eat with it. You spend your family time with it. You watch TV with your kids with it. It's just like, why
It's
is that?
everywhere. It's everywhere.
Yeah, and why is that
And
okay? Like,
no,
it's
I
like
know.
almost as humans, we are vulnerable, and we love quick excitement. We love like 5-second news. Like, it'll just keep swiping yes and no, yes and no. And we love that excitement. And all this business model are engineered to, dare I say, attack our vulnerability, because that's why we feel like, oh, it's so
So
convenient. I have
addictive.
to, yeah, we're so
Yeah.
addicted. And like, if we all agree this is addiction, right? And because, we've been doing life for few more, for 9 years now. We got people coming back saying that, hey, why can't I just, like turn off my phone, delete my app, or turn my screen black and white? I was
Yeah.
like, yes, please. If that helps you, that's awesome. Please do that, right? But in
It's
my
who
in my
uses.
perspective, yeah, from my perspective, like the smartphone is the wrong tool. It's
Yeah.
not designed to do that. It's not designed for you to not use it. There's a reason why it's a 9-inch beautiful screen, color flying everywhere, right? There's a reason for that. And
Yeah.
adding one more app or deleting things from there is not going to change your behavior. Like, all these options are available for how many years now? 15 years. What changed? Are we less addicted? Because like Apple and Google introduced their well-being app or screen time app 10 years ago, like right when we started iPhone. What changed?
So now you have like the Light Phone 3, like talking about what has changed, you have added a lot more features. So it's not
Yes.
only now just like the square light phone to call.
Yeah.
Are you trying to substitute smartphones now, or the idea is still to, have to and use it intentionally in different situations?
Yeah, I mean, we got that question a lot. Like, hey, you're becoming a smartphone, but to us, it's really clear. Like I said, we're not anti-technology. All we wanted to do is creating essential utility-focused tools that help you do things quickly, so you can get back to your life, right? So all the tools on iPhone 3 right now, phone call, texting, camera, music, direction, is all designed based on our principle. I mean, there's probably 3 principles that we follow. Number 1, I'll never show you advertisement. You'll never see advertisement in iPhone. Number 2, I'll never show you infinite feeds, nothing to browse, nothing to discover. So there's no feeds. Number 3, every action you as a user intentionally take, there will be a clear ending for that. Meaning that if you're getting a direction, you want to get direction from A to B, we'll show you a direction from A to B and navigating you to destination B. This action ends. There's nothing else. I'm not going to show you business information. I'm not going to try to entice you to do this and that. This action ends. So as long as the tool follow those principles, we're happy to create them. Like a payment tool is a great tool, a banking tool, I don't know, like a 2FA authentication tool. Like we still have a roadmap of tool we wanted to create. So the point is not asking people to go back living in a cave, don't use technology. The point is to take a step forward now. Now we understand the business model of social media and Google and all the big tech. Now we should have options. We should create creating tools, technology from scratch, eliminating, stripping away advertisement, the need to maximize engagement, selling data, strip all that away and creating essential tool for users. You should be able to choose what you want. You should have options. Smartphone is great. For a lot of scenarios, some people couldn't work without their smartphone, which we understand. But like for some other times, some other people, maybe when you don't want to get distracted, maybe when you only thing you want is to call, texting, get interaction, listen to a playlist that you created, but you have that options, right? So different cars, different shoes, right? I think that's only logical. The first, I think Marty Cooper, the first engineer that designed a smartphone back in the days, he was hired by Motorola. Marty Cooper famously said that when you're trying to design one thing for everyone, you would do nothing good. That would do nothing well, because you can't design one thing for everyone, right? It's like the concept of the right tool for the job. As an analogy, yeah, I can drink water using my shoes. Yes, I could do that. I could just carry water and drink it with my shoes. It works, right? Yeah, but
It's not really.
is that good tool? I mean, that's the same analogy for a smartphone too. Yes, you could delete your app. You could do whatever, black and white. You could delete app, put it back, right? But does that really make you feel happy? When you're trying to stay away, why do you need to carry a temptation with you 24/7, right? It's sorry, I keep throwing you analogy, but if we agree this is addiction, right? You want to quit smoking, you're not gonna carry your cigarette box and just tape it over and carry in your pocket and saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna quit smoking, but I'm gonna have the cigarette box with me, in my pocket 24/7. But I'm gonna quit. Right? It's not gonna work. And it's proven not working for the last 10 years. All this third-party app that try to restrict your usage or try to you could always turn your screen black and white. You could always delete your app. You could always turn on fly mode. Like I said,
But
what
you have
changed?
it anyways.
Yeah.
You're still carrying it with you.
We're still so addicted. We're still spending 8 hours. Our kids still spending 10, 15 hours a day on their devices. It's just nothing changed. So, I mean, that's, I think especially the last 2 years, a lot more, this movement is getting tractions everywhere. US, UK, European countries, even Asia, people are waking up to the big tech practice. They don't care about your time. They don't care about how does that make you feel, right? They just want engagement, because that's just
what
how they
do.
make money.
Hi, can I ask you a quick favor? Every week, we dive into the stories of founders that do more than just make money. Our mission is to prove that a career in impact can be both purposeful and financially sustainable. If you believe in creating meaningful work, share today's episode with one friend who's ready to make a difference. It would mean a great deal to me. Your support is what keeps this show alive and growing. Thank you.
For the Lightphone 1 and 2, you had very successful crowdfunding campaigns where you hit, if I remember correctly, 200% of your funding goal. And then you moved on to raising capital from VCs, which oftentimes they expect very high returns and leave aside the ethos of the company. So I'm wondering how you've dealt with these investors and how you've protected your purpose.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of investors. The last 9 years, we raised not a lot of money at all for what we're doing. We raised probably $13 million for the last 9 years for 3 phones, for native hardware, native software, and all the tools. It's not a lot of money, but
13 million is the total amount you've raised to date.
So far, yeah.
Okay.
For 3 phones, compared to other companies raising hundreds of millions for one device, right? So we actually raised minimum amount of money, but with a lot of people. And all these investors, most of them, I'm gonna say 95% of my investors are mission aligned. They love the idea. They think this is important for the society. For example, I don't know if you know Lyft, but the ride sharing app.
Yeah.
Co-founder is our biggest investor. the old Twitter's co-founder, Biz Stone, is my investor as well. We have investor coming from Facebook commercial team as well. We most of my investors are just believing the missions. And
How
at the same
interesting!
time,
How interesting
yeah,
though that all these investors that you've mentioned, they're
yeah,
they all hold very high positions in these very big companies that you're somehow not
yeah.
going against, but like you're protecting humans from them.
Yeah, well, they understand it too. It's not like they don't get it, right? It also is not mutually exclusive. You
Yeah.
have Facebook, then of course you could have live phone. Like whenever you don't want to get bombarded by Facebook, right? It's not an either or kind of situation, right? You could have your smartphone. You could also have live phone. Like you have two shoes, right? You have two jacket, two cars. So I think then coming from that angle is really helpful because to me it's validating because they made their fortune, made the career on the other side. Now they understand that it's not always healthy to stay in on those platforms 24/7. I have celebrity investors like Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad, Pete Davidson's, and we did a collaboration with Kendrick Lamar's team, Dave Free's team, PG Land. So I think this movement is only the beginning. Like we are the tip of the iceberg, and there will be. It's not just light phone, right? They are all the devices that are being designed and create for single purpose or for more environmental focused purpose. Like I don't know. Like remarkable that came to my mind is a writing tablet, a framework. It's a laptop that designed focus on reusability and upgradability, right? I think those companies are the same movement. We're trying to create technology tools to keep the essential core functionality and thinking about the users, the globe, the environment, the earth that we're in, and trying to do things differently. Versus the big tech that they have no choice but to keep digging into the hole they already digged in. Like Google is never gonna ask you to stop using their product because everything they do is to make money from data. Right? It's free, which is very great. It's good for people that doesn't want to pay. But if you don't pay, you are kind of product, right? Like you don't pay for product. If you're using them, you are the product for that company. It's
Exactly.
I think people understand that now. And it's a choice, right? If company being really specific, hey, say TikTok, if you use TikTok for free, here I'm gonna highlight the terms and condition. I have the right to search through your photos in your phone. I have the right to petition your storage of your phone. I have the right to know all your family's contact information, your kid's birthday, where are you at all times. I have the right to listen to you. Okay, if you agree to it, use
And
TikTok for free.
the crazy thing is that everyone agrees to it because everybody knows. And now with
No,
AI,
yeah,
I was just having this conversation yesterday. Like this friend was telling me about how many people are using AI as their therapist, like ChatGPT as their therapist. So you're
yeah,
feeding these, like program even more data about yourself. So like, I mean, how can we deny that they're going to control our thoughts?
yeah, yeah. They're private company. Well, I don't know OpenAI, but most of the company are for profit. Like if you give your like bio signatures or whatever to like private company, like there's no guarantee what they're gonna do with the data. I mean, they need to make money. They're not non-profit. They're for profit, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this business model is the fundamentally what's wrong with technology
Yeah.
tools. And from my perspective, I think technology needs to be invisible, needs to get out of the way. Like it just shouldn't be the center of our life. It shouldn't always be there. I shouldn't need to hold it all the time, or try to like, entice me
Yeah.
to do things I don't want it to do. I just need to do things. I need technology when I need to do something. Shows up. Let me do that thing quickly and go away. Like that's
Yeah. Needs to be specific. Actually, speaking about like how to decrease the use of technology. I have here the definition of digital minimalism, which is
yeah.
that advocates for a more intentional use of technology and is rooted in the belief that eliminating low-value digital noise can significantly improve your life. So we've just been speaking about how technology is at the forefront of everything we do and how it
Yeah.
will continue to do so because technology is exponential and, specifically now in the era of AI. Do you have a 3-step recommendation to improve our lives with a digital minimalism mentality?
That's a big question. I'm not an expert of digital minimalism.
I
But
guess
yeah,
it's not being an expert on the topic specifically, but it's the concept of using less technology to improve your life.
I know.
Other than
I
buying an
think
iPhone. This
no,
doesn't
I mean
count.
not everyone needs to buy a light phone. I think there's a lot of stuff you could take just to experience the similar effect. Just to acknowledge your behavior first. I think that's the first step. Just to understand it's a problem, and I think it's really easy to understand. Like if swiping Instagram, TikTok for 5 hours doesn't make you happy, you should probably make a change, right? If that makes you happy, awesome. Go for it.
Yeah.
If you feel horrible about it, and then you should probably make a change. Two, you could, like we said, there's so many steps on your phone. You could try to like mimic light phone experience, delete black and white, turn on flight mode, or just physically put your smartphone in a different space and you don't see it and touch it. And then I think the third one's probably the most important to me. It's just being intentional about using technology, right? Meaning that if you're gonna, like, Saturday morning you want to go out for a walk, right? You intended wanted to take a break, take a walk, reflecting, thinking about important things with your partners, your families, whatever, right? Do you need, browser? Do you need the millions of apps in your pocket when you do that? What do you need? Right? Maybe phone call, text message, so you can get in touch with people, maybe a direction, right? So just be intentional about the tools that you're using. It's the first step. It's just like really similar, going back to the same analogy, the toolbox, right? If you're using if you have a toolbox, there's a lot of tools. You need to understand which tool is doing what, how to use them, right? This is the same concept, in my opinion, same philosophy with technology tool, right? We are now just blindly accept that everything that Apple, Samsung, Google, Facebook gave us. Like, we're using WhatsApp all the time. But WhatsApp's Facebook on, like, we're using that as a given. Like, you can not using WhatsApp. I know it's reality, but at the same time, if we really care about your privacy, you really care about how your data are being used, you'll probably think twice about WhatsApp, right? So I think the intentionality for both the companies that are creating technology tools and the users are the way to fix this problem, right? Just being intentional. Like, I'm not gonna carry a 10-inch screen that has millions of things I don't know what they're doing, right? Like a lot of people don't even realize all the apps that you open, if you don't properly close them, they're all running in the background, tracking your movement, listening to you at all times, right? So I think being intentional and understanding each tools, how they works, how they make money, and how does that impact you? Are you feeling good, happy about those tools, using those tools? Are the first step to break away. If you being intentional, in my perspective, being intentional will always lead you to a digital minimalism lifestyle. Because you have intention. You don't just accept, like, put things wherever you want to put them. You being intentional on your technology tools, your tables, like where you place things, right? So it's always gonna lead to that
Got it.
minimalism lifestyle.
Are you scared or hopeful about
Oh,
the trends that you have, I guess, not insider, but like insights into, like, where are we going as a society? Scared or
yeah.
hopeful?
Well, if we continue this attention economy model, I'm scared that we will just live in a box and put on the goggle and like the headphones and just hook up to the server, and you don't need to go anywhere, right? I'm scared that's gonna happen. But at the same time, I am extremely hopeful for the reason that most of light phone users are young, Gen Z generation, 18 to 35 years old. We have a lot of young kids, younger generation, users, communities that they love light phone. They know the problems and appears to have an easier time to make that switch. Younger generation who born into smartphone, who born into social media, seem to have an easier time to say, hey, this is like, I don't feel good. Like my mental health is suffering. And I'm gonna go with different options. They seem to have easier time to do that versus the older generation, maybe, like my age or older. You go through pager, feature phone, smartphone, Google Map, your life changed drastically. Maybe that's the reason you have hard time to say, oh, I'm gonna cut back on those technology, right? That's my theory. But I'm hopeful because I'm very pleasantly surprised. A lot of younger people are resonating with light phone's missions and using light phone, and I think
It
that's yeah.
doesn't surprise me because the younger generations are the ones that were born with this technology. So they are the ones that no one could foresee how these smartphones and these social networks will impact their well-being. Like I think that if you were like, I don't know, a teenager when all these social networks came about, then your brain was already wired in another way.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's probably the reason. You could also argue that maybe it's because the younger generation are more addicted to the phones than the older, but I will argue that's the opposite. Like my own parents are so addicted to their phones. I
Really?
can't. I hear from other people too, like their parents, their grandparents are just so reliant on their phones, and they don't see a problem at all, right? So I think it's just because it's such a novelty for the younger people. That you always have smartphone, you always have internet, and when it doesn't make you feel good, of course you want to make a change, right? And our task on hand is to like sharing the benefit of this healthier lifestyle, right? It's not like we got a lot of review of iPhone 3. We have a lot of people talking about iPhone 3 since we launched the iPhone 3 back in April. But I think a lot of people missing the point. This is not a smartphone. This is not gonna fit into your smartphone lifestyle. Like using iPhone require a commitment. Like, you wanted to live healthier. You wanted to, I don't know, exercise more often, right? You will change your shoes, you change your outfit, you go out for a run, right? So, it's a completely different lifestyle.
Yeah.
And, we're hoping to share those benefits. Like, when you exercise, here are the benefits, right? Obviously you don't have to exercise 24/7. You could like every
No,
other
for sure.
day, weekend, right? You can mix it up. So that's what we've been trying to do, to tell people there are options. You don't have to accept whatever Apple or smartphone or big tech is giving you, right? You have choice. Maybe there will be less convenient. Maybe you'll not have email access 24/7. But like, think about it. Like, really, email 24/7 when you just having dinner with your family, when you're watching TV with your kids, really like, Slack 24/7, right? So that's what we've been trying to communicate, that we're not trying to tell people to stop using technology. We're not saying tools are not useful. We're just saying that, the business model behind all this app, all the tools that we're using are trying to maximize your engagement to make more money. That's what they need to do.
That's the
And
reality.
It's logical, but they have to do that.
I have one last question for you. Might be the most difficult.
Great. I love that.
What's one business you would start tomorrow if you had to pick something different from what you're doing? And you can approach it, I guess the way that I'm asking it's from a problem perspective and obviously an opportunity.
So what other business I will create? Is that a question?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think we've been doing this. It's something that I personally be very interested in. It's not use recycled or repurposed material for existing product. Like on
You mean
iPhone
technology
3,
product? Like the
yes,
life
technology product, not brand new. Because we have so many things in our world and filled with plastic, filled with, I don't know, unnecessary devices, and repurpose and recycle find a way to make it economy doable. It's interesting to me. And like I don't know why other companies not using recycled plastic. Because I know it's more expensive, but Apple can afford it. Like Google can afford it, right? Whenever they create a device, why can they use recycled material and repurposed material, right? I mean, if I'm not doing iPhone, I'll probably spend time trying to, in that space. I don't know what, but that's my. I think it's already embedded into iPhone's device that we went out of our way to find suitable recycled plastic, recycled aluminum, and we find our way to repair phones locally here in US, so people don't throw their phone away unless it's completely destroyed. Yeah, I don't know if I
I love
answered your
that.
question.
Very
but-
Patagonia style. No, it's true. Like you don't need to throw it away if it doesn't work. Like a lot of people have these like insurance contracts with Apple where like they pay, I don't know, $200 when they buy the iPhone, and then only if they have like a little scratch, then they give it back and they get a new one. And you're like, no, just like bring it there,
Yeah.
get it fixed, and then just keep using the one you
Yeah, I
already
mean
have.
that's Apple's model,
Yeah.
the planned obsolete, because that's why they release a new model every 9 months for no reason. They all look the same. iPhone 10, iPhone
Yeah, all look
35, they're
the same.
all the same. Who cares? But they can't stop because the market price, because the share price, right? But for iPhone 3, we don't have that baggage. So we've been telling people that yes, iPhone 3 is $599, but we want you to have iPhone for 5-10 years. We will repair them as long as we're here. We'll repair your phone. We'll find a way, and we'll upgrade the software. We'll fix bugs. You don't have to buy a new iPhone every year. We have our business model selling hardware, obviously for profit, for revenue. We are also carriers that sell SIM card and plan, so that creating revenue to support our software. And your phone need a SIM card anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, we don't agree with the planned obsolete practice. I think people should have the phone for 5-10 years if they want to, unless there's something that absolutely outdated and cannot be used. Like iPhone 2, the reason we choose to upgrade iPhone 2 from 3, which the main reason being the 5G platform being the major network spec. And also the camera that becomes so essential for people's life. And the way we design camera, right, it's not just taking a camera app from the app stores. We debated internally and with our user whether or not camera is a distraction. We didn't have camera design in iPhone 2 because we think the camera creates a lot of distraction, that you take a photos, you're thinking about posting, liking, commenting, filtering, editing, all that, right? Those are all distraction, but camera is a good documenting tool.
Yeah.
You could take a photo receipt, a video of something that's happening, and you have that documented. And that's how we design our camera. It's almost like mimicking the point and shoot camera, right? You only operate the camera from the
With
shutter
one
buttons.
button. Yeah.
Not from the screen. You could take photos, you could take videos. There's no editing, no posting, not even zooming, zoom out, just fixed lens. And you could documenting things, and it's safe on your phone. And you can also transfer it to your laptop or your tablet. But that's it. There's no trick. There's no fancy, editing tools or posting around the camera tool. And, that's just kind of same philosophy that we design every tools on iPhone.
Thank you, Kai. Thank you for your time, for building the light phone, and for giving people the choice to reconsider their relationship to technology.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.